Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. Come on in the room, get settled. We'll start shortly. Hello, hello. Welcome to Happy Hour. It's good to see you. Happy to be here. If anyone has had a tough week, shout out and blessings and peace to you. February been interesting, hasn't it? February has been a very, very, very interesting month. She came through knocking shit over, moving like she got somewhere to be. Like, she was quick and disruptive, but a couple more days, she's almost over. All right, we are here to talk about March, though. Come on in the room, get settled. Let me turn Scissor off so we can hear each other. Hello, everyone. I am Soleil. I am Coven Mother of Vision Adontor. I am founder and facilitator of the Charm School Mentorship Program, and I am your weekly reader. I'm also a dope bitch straight up out of Oakland. Hello, hello. You are here for Astro Hour. Astro Hour is a bi-weekly segment that we do where we talk about the major astrological transits that lie ahead of us, how they have impact over us personally and directly, and just kind of shoot the business about what we need to do in the business of personal development and healing. How can we use these transits to make our lives better, to make our situation better? That is what Astro Hour is about. That is what Astro Hour is for. And so we have 2 transits happening next week, and they happen right after each other. And there was a part of me that wanted to talk about some things that happened later in the month of March, but we got time for that. So we'll probably have that conversation next week. But today, I wanted to take some time to talk about the full moon and lunar eclipse in Virgo that's happening March 3rd, and the fact that Mars is moving into Pisces the day before. And I want to talk about these 2 things together because these energies are actually quite different. And so the fact that we're going to be experiencing them at the same time means that there's a lot going on. Do not be surprised if you have a lot of feelings coming up, and if those feelings feel like they are in conflict or in contradiction with one another. Hello, Nicole. Hello, Chantel. Hello, Aja. Hello, Tiffany. Thank you all for joining me. As you come into the room, say hello. I do talk back. I do say hi. Hit those scale emojis if you can, because those are really important to me. Those give me a lot of energy. And whenever I do Astro Hour, I try to have a specialized 3-card reading in alignment with the transits. So I will offer that to the audience once I'm done with my synopsis. If nobody wants it, totally okay, totally fine. But it is just something that I try to offer in these conversations. But first, let us talk about the transits first, okay? So we have the eclipse, the lunar, the moon eclipse in Virgo, right? And these are opposing energies. Virgo and Pisces are opposing energies. They're very different. They're polarities, right? Virgo is very systemic. It's very organized. It is orderly, very clean, right? Virgo is literally the sign of hygiene. And because of that, it's a sign of spiritual hygiene. What is spiritual hygiene? It's discernment. Virgo is an energy of discernment. And that is in opposition to Pisces, which is about surrender. Whereas Virgo is very orderly, very controlled, very a dark expression of that. Some people would say they're fake, right? Fake perfectionists. That is in opposition to Virgo, which is about surrender, spirituality, and illusion, right? That's why, and again, a dark expression of Pisces is delusional, right? People often say that. Pisces are delusional, right? So this is an energy that doesn't really necessarily match. But before we talk about how these energies are opposing in more detail, I want to remind you all that eclipses are not just regular full moons. They're not regular moons. They're not regular new or full moons, right? When we are dealing with the energy of an eclipse, we are dealing with an opportunity to have a fated turning point, right? Eclipses deal with fated opportunity, fated moments. Eclipses accelerate timelines. So a lot of times when we have an eclipse, there's energy that we may have been grappling with for a while, but the force and the nature of the eclipse makes us deal with it very, very quickly. So eclipses deal with accelerated timelines, sudden endings, or revelations, right? Information you may be grappling with, you get a sudden revelation around it. There is karmic unraveling that tends to happen when eclipses are around, okay? So they're not just about emotional release the way that traditional new moons or our traditional understandings of full moons, right? That they're about emotional release. That's not just what an eclipse is. An eclipse is an opportunity for timeline correction, right? So those areas of life where you feel stagnated, those areas of life where you've been struggling for breakthrough, those areas of life where you may have been struggling for understanding, eclipses make movement within that energy, okay? So let's talk about the themes of this upcoming Virgo eclipse that is happening on March 3rd, Tuesday, March 3rd, okay? Again, remembering that because Virgo is about order, when we deal with the energy of Virgo, it's looking at our daily routines. It is looking at things related to health and nervous system, right? This is why Virgos can be a little bit hypochondriacs, because they are about physical health and the physical body. Virgo is also a sign. Let me take these headphones out because I do this every time. This is what I use to talk to you guys in readings in, so I forget to take them out when I'm on camera. But Virgo is also the sign of service, okay? And because Virgo is the sign of service, when we're dealing with Virgo energy astrologically, issues of service and labor, where are you overgiving? Where are you not giving enough? How is the type of giving you participate in shaping or limiting you? Those are all things related to Virgo, okay? Virgos are also perfectionists, right? And it's funny that we call their polarity, Pisces, delusional, because the thing that Virgo is obsessed with, perfectionism, doesn't exist, right? There is no such thing as perfect. But you can't tell a Virgo that, and you can't make them calm down in their pursuit of perfect, right? I know this. I'm saying this as somebody with a Virgo moon, okay? But another thing that Virgo rules is this balance between discernment and criticism, right? You may have heard people say that Virgos are very critical and they're very judgmental, and they can be, right? But that's when they are, again, balance. When they have teetered into an extreme, that makes them hypercritical. That makes them really judgmental. But what they are really invested in is discernment and the wisdom that comes with discernment. And when they are aligned, that is what Virgo rules. That's what it represents, okay? So with this particular eclipse in Virgo that's going to be happening on Tuesday, March 3rd, we need to be asking ourselves, where am I over functioning, right? Where am I over functioning? Where am I over giving? Where am I so invested in being of service that it's draining me, right? And also, what am I escaping from in being of service, in over functioning, in over giving, okay? Another question, where am I being hypercritical? And is that tendency towards being hypercritical actually doing anything for me? Is it benefiting me? Is it benefiting the people around me? That's important, right? Where is my body showing me stress? Good Lord. If you guys If you guys work with me directly, either as a client or a student, Virgo moon, okay? So the eclipse has already started on my ass, and it literally knocked me on my ass earlier this week. So I encourage all of you to grapple with that question. Ask yourself where your body is showing you stress and listen to it before it forces you, before it sits you down and makes you listen, okay? So this is a really important opportunity for us to purge, right? Because again, full moons are about release, right? This is an opportunity for us to purge around any martyr complexes that we may have. So again, where are we over giving to the point where we're actually hurting ourselves, killing ourselves slowly, right? Where are the areas of life where we're experiencing an extreme amount of burnout? And how are we contributing to that burnout? How is our investment in perfectionism and the illusion of perfectionism forcing us into this energy of burnout, right? What is happening with us in terms of our fixer energy? Are we so wrapped up in being fixers that we are denying ourselves and letting our lives fall apart on that Olivia Pope shit, right? I've always been fascinated with the fact that people idolize Olivia Pope as a character. And I think it's just because Kerry Washington is so beautiful with those big doe eyes and those perfect lips that people forget that this woman is supposed to be a cautionary tale, right? You can sacrifice so much of your life trying to fix everybody else's problems that you lose your own life, you lose your own identity, you lose your own peace and joy. And this eclipse is really asking us to challenge ourselves to look and see where we may be doing that, right? But another thing is Virgos don't like help. They love giving help. They hate receiving help. So asking yourself, where are you in this independent, I don't need no help, I'll just do it myself kind of energy? And what is that costing you? Those are all really important things to reflect over and purge if you see evidence of that in your life during this eclipse in Virgo that's happening on March 3rd, okay? So whereas Pisces is an energy that really is going to dissolve, right? Virgo diagnosis, again, that discernment, that critical nature, that tendency to zone in and refine, really hyperfixate on the small details, that's Virgo, okay? So this eclipse is going to expose areas of spiritual delusion, okay? Again, that Pisces energy of spiritual escapism, when it is paired, so Mars goes into Pisces on the 2nd, right? And if there are areas of life where we are dealing with spiritual delusion, where we are dealing with spiritual escapism, that Virgo energy the next day on the 3rd is going to come through, and it's really going to force us to confront those areas of escapism, those areas of spiritual delusion that we deal with. Pisces is also known as the sign of the martyr because Pisces is naturally very codependent, right? Next to Libra, they are the most codependent sign. They can get so wrapped up in taking care of other people and sacrificing on behalf of other people that they become dependent on those people and those sacrifices. That's why it's known as the sign of the martyr. So that impact of the Virgo lunar eclipse is really going to force us to look at those areas where we have codependency disguised as compassion, right? Which is a struggle, especially with a misaligned Pisces. That's a really big struggle. Another thing, going back to that escapist nature, because Pisces is the 12th sign, right? They are the most psychic sign. They represent the 12th house, which is the house of spirituality, right? So there is a natural, psychic, intuitive, connected to the spiritual world energy about them. So they're naturally healing in their energy, in their nature. But sometimes that hyperfixation on healing can actually be a form of avoidance, right? So through that hypercritical energy of Virgo, we are being called to really look as Mars goes into Pisces on March 2nd. We're really being called to reflect and look at the areas of life where our hyperfixation on healing is actually a form of avoidance, right? You guys have heard me come on here. I love all my clients down, but I have clients that have been avoiding certain topics for literally 3-4 years. We're having the same readings over and over again, and they're fighting me about things because they only want to be rooted in one part of their journey, their healing journey, and they don't want to operationalize the information for change, right? Virgo being the celestial taskmaster. I don't know why that word was fucking me. Virgo being the celestial taskmaster, the get it done energy, coming in hot and heavy right after Mars goes into Pisces, is really going to make people look at where they're using a language of healing and a hyperfixation on healing to avoid their responsibility in the work that they have to do. Hey, Sanidra. Hey, Tamika. Thank you for joining. Hey, Tori. Good to see you here. So another question we should really be asking ourselves, both on March 2nd when Mars goes into Pisces and on March 3rd where we're dealing with this Virgo total lunar eclipse, is where have I spiritualized what I should be confronting? Where have I spiritualized what I should be confronting, right? I'll give you a great example. Everybody want to talk about generational curses. And a lot of people have a hyper awareness of their generational curses, but then they have a lack of awareness of their role in the replication of those curses, right? I had this argument with a client earlier today. If you know that alcoholism is a generational curse, don't drink. Don't drink. It's that simple. And if you know you are a person that doesn't want to give up alcohol completely, then develop a spiritual regimen that routinely asks you to fast from it so it doesn't have control over you, right? If you know that submitting to men with a hoe spirit is a generational curse with the women in your family, right? The women in your family are continually attracted to King of Wands, big dick energy, Papa was a Rolling Stone ass man. Train yourself to be attracted to something different so that you don't continue to anchor your bloodline in disloyal men. But fetishizing and using the language and repeating the healing language over and over again is not the same thing as confronting the dynamic. You can know a generational curse. It's another thing to break it. And when we have this energy of Mars and Pisces, not unraveling, but entering into the world right before a Virgo lunar eclipse, these are the kind of things that we are forced to think about, right? This is also a great time for health and nervous system activation. And when I say it's a great time, I don't mean it's going to feel great. It's actually not going to feel great at all, right? But in that feeling of difficulty, pay attention to your body because it's giving you information, right? Virgo governs digestion. I'm struggling with words today. It governs digestion and our stress responses, okay? So don't be surprised if you deal with some fatigue. Don't be surprised if you have your anxiety spiking the day before or even the day after. If you feel some disruptions in sleep, go ahead and get your magnesium now. Go ahead and get your electric blanket now. Whatever you need to make sleep more easy, get those routines in order now. And that's because we're experiencing body detox responses under this lunar eclipse, right? Whether you're actively detoxing through herbs in your diet or not, this Virgo total lunar eclipse is going to have the energetic feeling of a detox. And when we detox, what happens? Our energy drains. We feel fatigue. It's hard to sleep because your body is releasing all kinds of toxins and bullshit, right? Make sure you're hydrating. Make sure you're grounding yourself. This is not a time to really be doing a whole lot of spiritual work, right? I was speaking to Codanne, and she was saying that she's getting her spiritual work out of the way now before the eclipse rolls around, which I think is really, really wise. I think it would be wise for all of us to make sure that we take this weekend, if we're doing any spiritual work, to wrap it up, because it's not a good idea to initiate new rituals during an eclipse. Cleanses, yes. Journaling, yes. Anything that invites revelation, absolutely. But I would never advise somebody to start a new working on an eclipse, right? But yeah, and the reason why you don't want to is because of everything that was mentioned, the fatigue, the exhaustion, right? You don't want to put that energy into your spiritual work. But this is a time where you really want to focus on observation. That's another reason why you don't want to do any new spiritual workings. Eclipses are about revelation. And when we are given revelations, we should observe. We should take the wisdom. We should heed that wisdom. It's not a time to go asking and manifesting, right? I don't think eclipses should be over-ritualized in general. I'm not going to go into too much detail about that tonight. That's definitely something I'm going to be talking about towards the end of March in one of my Patreon classes, right? I'm going to be doing a class on when and when not to do rituals. So if you guys are interested in that, definitely join the Patreon, okay? But this is when we have this axis of Virgo and Pisces, it's a really delicious energy in terms of relationship activation, okay? That discernment and refinement energy of Virgo matched with the loving partnership energy of Pisces gives us an opportunity to really reflect on the nature of our relationships. So this eclipse can really highlight dynamics where we either show up as the helper or as helpless, right? Some of you guys have relationships with people in your life and you love them down, but they are perpetual victims. They're always helpless. They always need saving. You love you down. You may be the perpetual victim, right? So if you're the helpless person in a relationship, it's really important for you to ask yourself, how are you draining the helper in your life energetically? And if you're the helper, how are you allowing yourself to be drained? This is a great time. Evaluating our savior complexes, right? Again, that martyr energy of Pisces. If you are constantly being the savior of other people, how does that always put you in that hangman energy where you're in constant suspension around your own life and your own progress? This is something that we should be asking ourselves whenever we have Virgo and Pisces working together that closely, okay? But this is a time where we really want to think about emotional labor imbalances in our lives. Whether we are the person that's taking too much or the person that's giving too much. What do we do to get to equilibrium? What do we do to get to balance, right? So asking, like, who depends on me staying small or staying exhausted? Am I the person that believes I benefit from playing small? Some of you guys think you're benefiting from hiding behind other people, behind your service to other people, behind your submission to other people, and you're not. And this eclipse may force you to really evaluate that, right? So when Mars enters Pisces on March 2nd, this is going to be a major energy shift, right? Because Mars is the planet of action, of drive. It deals with libido. It also deals with anger. And this is one of the reasons why we want to get this shit in order, right? Because some of us are constantly being perpetual givers, saviors, Captain Save-A-Hos, if you will. And then when our needs are not being met, we get resentful. And if you've been in a denial about how resentful you've been of your overgiving, Mars going into Pisces is really going to force you to confront that, okay? Pisces is also avoidance, compassion, fantasy, escapism, intuition, right? So think about that. Mars is in Pisces. Mars don't really like to be in Pisces like that. It's not at home. It is not exalted there. Okay? It actually makes it really indirect. It makes it hard for Mars to do its work. So do not be surprised if there's a rise of passive aggressiveness in your environment next week. People who are typically really direct become indirect, and there's a lot of resentment in their tendency to be indirect. Don't be surprised, okay? So instead of people engaging in direct confrontation or direct communication, don't be surprised if you see certain subtweets. It's like, bitch, you could have just said that to me. Don't be surprised if people ghost you for no reason. Don't be surprised if somebody's trying to emotionally manipulate you or gaslight you. Or if you catch yourself emotionally manipulating or gaslighting someone, right? Don't be surprised if people, especially if you're in spiritual community, if people start engaging in spiritual bypassing. Those are all things that can happen when Mars is in Pisces, okay? The shadow expressions of this is that people are going to play victim instead of asserting their needs. People are also going to see martyrdom as a form of power, right? Think about a mother who enrolls their kids in a whole bunch of shit the kid don't even want to be in. And then when they're run ragged, dragging them all around, they're like, look at how I'm sacrificing you. And then the poor kid is just like, girl, I want to be at home playing Fortnite. I want to be at home scrolling TikTok. What are you talking about? But martyrdom is a form of false power, right? All that giving and expecting people to elevate you and celebrate you for the giving, when majority of the time people don't even want the shit that you're giving. Reflect on that, okay? Mars and Pisces can also activate a lot of psychic sensitivity. Your intuition is going to be heightened. Dreams may be vivid. And with that, there's also going to be some strong energetic leaks. Okay? And what do I mean by that? With you being exhausted, we already talked about that spiritual detox energy of Virgo, the total lunar eclipse in Virgo, right? When you marry Mars and Pisces along with that, there's going to be some energetic leaks. Do your spiritual protections. This is not a time to be lazy about your spiritual protections. So rather than being wrapped up in ritual around manifesting and calling new things in, do your spiritual protections. That is what's going to serve you. You can easily be the subject of spiritual warfare or a spiritual attack with Mars and Pisces. Again, that delusion energy, that escapist, don't be in escapist mode, be in protection mode. Put your protections over your home, over your car, over your children, over your own body, okay? This is a great time to cleanse your aura, to cleanse or feed or strengthening the boundaries over your home. Also really protecting your sleep area, wherever you sleep, right? And I want to be clear when I say sleep area. I don't know if some of y'all are like me, but I will sleep on my couch easily. Like, especially if I'm having a day where I'm doing a lot of work, I'm gonna bust out a blanket and sleep on my couch, right? So wherever you sleep or nap the most, do protection and cleansing over those areas, because you want to make sure that you're not being messed with psychically or in your sleep, okay? So this is a great time to do your spiritual baths, to do a floor wash. This is a great time for that, all right? Now here is a good thing about Mars and Pisces. Great for creative energy as well as any kind of erotic work. If you have never gotten an erotic power session with me and you've been interested or curious, this may be a great time to do it, okay? Because the high side of Mars in Pisces is the increase in sensuality, right? There's also an increase in mystical sexuality, right? A need to channel energy through movement, through touch, through sex gets heightened when Mars is in Pisces. There's also a great opportunity for a lot of artistic breakthroughs. So if you've been dealing with writer's block, any kind of artistic blockages, expect those to ease up next week when Mars goes into Pisces, okay? So this is a great week for dance, music, writing. I already said dance, I was about to say it again. Any kind of erotic confidence work, right? Those are things you really want to prioritize under this energy, okay? But also be careful again, because Pisces is the sign of the martyr. What do martyrs do? They'll implode before they explode. So it's still Mars. The anger is still going to be there. Just because you don't want to deal with it because it doesn't feel pleasant doesn't mean it goes away. So this is a time where your anger can very easily turn inward if you don't deal with it, right? Mars and Pisces can internalize anger. Watch out for self-sabotage. Be careful around how you deal with your crown at this time, because it's not uncommon when Mars is in Pisces for bouts of depression to spike, okay? Be careful about managing your addiction triggers, all right? Be careful. If you know that you are abstaining from certain substances, go ahead and have a care plan in order, because you will feel triggered to indulge under this energy, okay? But we really got to ask ourselves, you're going to feel spiritually drained, and asking yourself if that is just due to the detox nature of the Virgo lunar eclipse, or is that drain and that exhaustion coming from the fact that you are carrying around unresolved or unconfronted resentment or anger. And if it's the latter, be honest with yourself so that you can figure out what you need to do to purge it. Okay? But we're going to have a lot of emotional climaxes, and that tends to happen anytime there's an eclipse. So just be prepared and ready for that. Mars in Pisces is really going to be dissolving our ego defenses. So be ready for that. There's going to be a lot of indirect action in our lives. So be ready for that, okay? You may be around people that snap emotionally. You may be the one who snaps emotionally. And it's going to feel uncomfortable, because not only is somebody snapping emotionally, it's indirect. It's passive aggressive. And passive aggression is still aggressive. I think we hear the word passive and think, oh, it's not that big. No, it's still aggression. It's still uncomfortable, okay? Another thing, not only does burnout peak, but some secrets are good. Secrets of secrets is, Lord Jesus, I'm talking like Cardi B. All the footages. Don't be surprised if secrets come out of nowhere. Uncomfortable secrets are revealed. I'm not even going to repeat it. Some tea came up about somebody that betrayed me a couple years ago, and I was like, Lord, that explains a lot. I'm not going to say nothing. But your spiritual identity is going to be tested with Mars and Pisces, right? And again, the lunar eclipse in Virgo, your need for perfectionism, the ego that comes from the need for perfectionism. Are you going to deal with the test, or are you going to lash out because how dare somebody test you, right? Those are all things that are going to come up. So again, asking yourself, where are you sacrificing? Where are you giving too much? What are you avoiding? And what is that avoidance costing you? Those are all really big questions that we are going to be confronted with most of next week, but especially on the 2nd and on the 3rd, okay? So that is my synopsis. That's my breakdown of Mars and Pisces, as well as the total lunar eclipse in Virgo. Again, I am going to break and take questions from the audience. I have a reading on each. So if you would like a reading about the total lunar eclipse, I can do a reading on that for you. Or if you have questions, or if you're interested in knowing how Mars and Pisces is going to impact you, I'm happy to read on that as well. If no one wants a reading, that's fine too. But as you guys are making your decision, make sure you put in the comments if you decided to get a reading so that I know who I'm reading for. And while you all are doing that, I'm just going to bring you guys up to speed on a couple of the things I'm currently offering. The Ancestral Life Path readings are only going to be on sale for 2 more days. We only have 2 more days of Black History Month left, right? So sale will end this Saturday at 11:59 p.m. EST. All right, Tamika, go ahead and send your love offering either to my Cash App or my PayPal scrolling below, and then I'll do a reading for you, okay? So if you want an Ancestral Life Path reading, make sure you book it before Saturday night at midnight in order to get the discounted rate of $85, okay? On March 30th, anytime, Aisha, it's good to see you. I'm glad that you're here tonight. On March 30th, I will be starting a 5-day road opening ritual that I am running in collaboration with Hunti Kodan. Hunti Kodan is a road opening expert. I've done a lot of work with her, learned tremendous amount of information from her, and I am deeply excited to be doing this road opening work with her. This is very different from Rich Spirit. Rich Spirit is just about finances. This road opening work is meant to help you open roads and create opportunity in pretty much any aspect of life that you want. She's going to be joining me next Thursday on my channel to talk a little bit more about the ritual for those who have questions. The deadline to sign up for it is March 28th because we start on March 30th. And we are specifically working with the energy of Palm Sunday and working up until right before Easter. And if you know, you know, but there's a lot of delicious energy and transits happening around that time, which is why we chose those dates. So if you are interested in learning more, make sure you hit the link below so that you can join the intake group and ask your questions. Absolutely, Nicole. There are 2 different readings tonight. One on the lunar eclipse, the full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo, and then another on Mars and Pisces. I spoke about them together just to talk about how they amplify one another, but I'm doing 2 different readings. So yeah, honestly, those are the main things that I'm working right now. I'm wrapping up this Ancestral Life Path reading sale. I'm preparing for the road opening ritual that we will start at the end of March. I'm still doing interviews for Charm School, and I'm still accepting people into Study Hall. Study Hall is my self-paced mentorship program. I know a lot of people are interested in receiving mentorship, but they can't really commit to ongoing class schedule. So I do have a self-paced mentorship program called Study Hall. If you're interested in either, join the link for Charm School, and I will share the information about both of my mentorship programs there, okay? But those are the main things I'm working on right now. As always, if you're interested in classes, join the Patreon. That's pretty much it. Let me get into these questions because I see a few people do have interest in a question. Which one of the readings would you like, Tamika? Would you like a reading on the lunar eclipse or about Mars and Pisces? Which one would you like? Nicole, would you like the 2 readings as well? I see offerings from Tiffany, Tamika, and Nicole. Tiffany, where are you? Tiffany, are you Rains Rose? Tiffany, you gotta help me, babe, because you know I be Be fucking up your online name. You know I called you Johnny for years. I didn't even know your name was Tiffany. So you gotta help me out. I'ma do Tamika first, and then I'ma do Rains Rose, and then I'm gonna do Nicole. Okay, let me do Tamika first, and Tamika wants the lunar reading. All right, let's see. My phone is starting. It's being kind to me tonight. Thank God. Okay. Ancestors, angels, ascended masters, spirits that walk with me, my elevated ancestors. What wisdom does Tamika need about the lunar eclipse in Virgo, the upcoming full moon in Virgo on March 3rd? What is this moon here to help her release? What is this eclipse? What is the revelation that this eclipse is bringing to her at this time? Any wisdom shared is deeply appreciated. Okay, so we will do, once I'm done with Tamika, I'll do Tiffany, and then I'll do Nicole, and if there's no one else after Nicole, we'll go ahead and wrap up for the evening, okay? All right. Tamika, in the position of what is being revealed, and this is a card that's here to talk about what the eclipse is exposing, right? What no longer needs to be ignored. This is a very, very fascinating card. 10 of Pentacles, right? 10 of Pentacles, regardless of what the message is, it's a blessing. 10 of Pentacles is generational wealth. It's abundance. It represents the energy of somebody who has not only listened to and carried the most positive attributes from their elders, and used it to really sharpen their generation. They've also used it to create support and wealth for the generation under them, right? And you may be hearing that and thinking, well, what does that have to do with exposure? That's what's being exposed to you. Girl, you've done enough. Tamika, you, and I know because I've had conversations with you, you can be so hard on yourself. And what is being revealed to you, the blind spot that is coming to light, is that you got to ease up on you. Your ancestors are actually pleased with you. And when our ancestors are happy with us, we shouldn't even worry about making other people happy. You've done so much. You've done enough. You've done the right things. So you really need to understand that. And this lunar eclipse really needs you to stand in that understanding, to operate in that understanding, okay? What must be released? What is being purged at this time, right? You got to stop moving so fast and doing everything for everybody, right? 8 of Wands is a beautiful energy because it's stay ready so you don't have to get ready. But it's also the precursor to 9 of Wands, which is Wounded Warrior. You move so much and you do so much. You take on every opportunity, but you do it for other people. You probably don't even remember that just a couple weeks ago when I did your forecast, what did I say? Give yourself permission to be selfish, right? See how it's coming back up? See the synchronicity? Use that energy of staying ready so you don't have to get ready for yourself. What you need to purge is this desire and this compulsion to overgive and run yourself ragged for everybody else, okay? In the third position, which is talking about where do you reclaim your power, we have the 4 of Pentacles. And I think this is a really interesting card to get in this position. You reclaim your power by conserving your energy, right? And I think it's interesting that it comes up as a lesson through the 4 of Pentacles, because the main reason why you don't conserve your energy is this fear around appearing like a 4 of Pentacles. You are so fearful of appearing selfish, of appearing greedy that you overgive, right? And that's not the answer. The answer is to conserve your energy. The answer is to make sure that you have your base needs met. And that is where you reclaim your power, is by training yourself to put yourself first. Okay? All right, Tamika, I hope that that was helpful for you. All right. Tiffany wants both readings. She wants both the lunar and the Mars and Pisces. So I'm going to start with the lunar since I've already done one, and then we'll go into Mars and Pisces for you. Okay? All right, Tiffany. Okay, so we have two Tiffany's here. we have, so I'm going to say Johnny and Tiffany. Johnny wants both readings, and then Tiffany wants Mars and Pisces. So I'm going to start with Johnny, and then and then I'll do Nicole, and then we'll do Tiffany. Okay? Wait, Johnny, did you want, oh, you want both? Yeah, you said both, please. Let me highlight that comment so that I don't confuse myself. Okay. Ancestors, angels, ascended masters, spirits that walk with me. What does Johnny need to know about the upcoming lunar eclipse in Virgo, full moon in Virgo? What will she be releasing? What will that release make room for her to reclaim? Any wisdom shared is deeply appreciated. I'm not going to include that in the spread. I'm going to read it at the end, though, because I think it's a really good card. So in the position of what is being revealed, girl, in the position of what is being revealed, what is the blind spot that's coming to life? I think I said this to you last year at the retreat, and it's kind of coming back to me right now. You are so spiritually gifted. Like, your insights are crazy. But I think part of your self-sabotage is that you have, and I don't know where it came from, and I don't think that you think every priestess needs to be this, but you have an unfortunate and a false understanding that in order for you to be a priestess, you have to be self-sacrificial, right? And that's not true, right? And the more you sacrifice, and the more that you tell yourself that priestesses are people who sacrifice, the more it keeps you in suspension around your own spiritual development, right? So that's a false belief that it's going to really be illuminated in a way that really gets you to confront it so that you can release it during this eclipse, okay? In the position of what must be released, right? Where are you holding resentment, or what role is exhausting you? Another fascinating one, Eight of Pentacles. I think you're so comfortable being the student, but it's a form of imposter syndrome. I don't even mean to your spirits are making me do this. I don't even want to give it to you like this. You're so comfortable being the student, but it's imposter syndrome. You know more than you are comfortable with standing in, right? Because that is a debilitation of Eight of Pentacles. They can be so addicted to the training and the refinement of their skill set that they want to hide in the novice, in the apprentice position, because stepping out and demanding what they're worth, and demanding attention, and demanding respect, demanding proper pay, all those things, it causes a fear in them, and it turns into imposter syndrome, right? In the position of where do you reclaim your power, where you need to redirect your energy, we have the Magician. You have all the tools at your disposal to create the kind of life that you want, right? To create the identity as a priestess that you want to embody. And I don't even want to say that you want to embody, that your ancestors believe you should, right? You have all the tools at your disposal. It's just a matter of you getting out of this self-sacrificial position, releasing your imposter syndrome, and trusting the skill set that you have, okay? So that's your lunar reading. And that's why I said I wanted to put the card to the side, because Page of Pentacles, the card of the apprentice, right? You're only going to be comfortable with it when you start doing it. The apprentice is somebody who learns through doing, right? Your journey as a priestess is yours. It's not something that anybody can really model to you. You have to step out and do it. Yeah, I love you down. I be telling y'all shit all the time. She said, you just told me this. I know I did. I know I did. But you're human, which means I got to say it to you like 11 times before you finally trust it. It's okay. It's okay. All right. So now we're going to do the Mars and Pisces for you, Johnny. Ancestors, angels, ascended master spirits to walk with me. What does Mars and Pisces have to teach Johnny at this time? What is the lesson that Mars and Pisces is here to give her? Any wisdom shared is deeply appreciated. I'll take care of Nicole after this, and then Tiffany. And if there's anyone else that would like a reading after Tiffany, go ahead and submit your love offering and put a comment in the comment section so that I know to get to you. Okay? Where is your energy leaking? Where are you exhausted but not saying why? You tired of thinking for everybody around you. That's not funny. That's not funny. You are tired of being both emotional and intellectual support for everybody around you. You fucking tired. You are absolutely just exhausted, and it's going to make you resentful. That's the thing that happens to a Queen of Swords, right? When she has to be everybody's mother, counselor, strategist, it can make her resentful. And when she gets resentful, she starts popping off at the mouth. She starts saying real mean shit, right? And you are on the verge of being there if you aren't already there. You're tired of thinking and caring for and nurturing for everybody through thinking, if that makes sense. So that's what's draining your energy. That's where the leak is. What emotion is fueling your actions, right? The emotions that are fueling your actions. King of Pentacles, Taurus. You're making a very classic Taurus mistake where you think that if you give people the kind of stability that you wish you had, that you would receive it in return. And that never happens for us. I'm saying that as a Taurus. That never happens. Nobody ever offers us back the security and the comfort and the love that we pour out. It just never happens, right? And that's a reality that you have to face right now. The emotions that's fueling your actions and causing you to do this is that you wish you had. You are only showing up this way because it's what you wish you had. And you think that if you continue to give it to everybody, you're going to get it back. And that's not how that works. How can you channel your fire constructively, right? Where do you need to redirect your desire? I'm going to say something. Okay, I'm going to say this delicately. Instead of being everybody's mama, go out and date. Let somebody trick on you. Let somebody tell you you're pretty. You really need to go on a date. You really need to be spoiled by somebody right now. Knight of Cups. You literally just need to have somebody admire you and tell you you're pretty so that you don't have to think right now. That's literally what you need. You just need to be somebody to pour affirmations over you and be obsessed with you so that you don't have to be everybody's mama. That's literally what you need right now. You need a little bit of romance that's going to distract you from all the responsibility you have. That is such a Pisces Mars message. But I'm excited about that for you. I want to see how that goes for you, Johnny. Let me know if that resonates for you, okay? Alrighty. Now let's go to Nicole. Nicole, thank you so much for waiting patiently. Tiffany, you will be up next after Nicole, okay? Nicole, I'm going to start with the lunar eclipse reading for you, and then we'll do the Mars and Pisces, okay? Ancestors, angels, ascended masters, spirits that walk with me, my elevated ancestors. What wisdom does the lunar eclipse in Virgo, the full moon in Virgo on March 3rd, have for Nicole? What wisdom is this eclipse here to give her? What revelations will she have at this time? Any wisdom shared is deeply appreciated. Okay. In terms of what is being revealed, what blind spots are coming to light, what have you been rationalizing? Baby, you really tired. You are really, really, really tired. Nine of Wands, the wounded warrior. You need some rest. You just do. You're very exhausted. And I think you are grateful for the work you do. You're grateful for the responsibilities you have. So you're just toughing it out and pushing through. But all the energy detox that's going to happen next week is really going to unfortunately make you hit a wall where you have to confront just how worn out and how drained you were feeling, right? And that some of this exhaustion you may not be able to recuperate or recover from it and bounce back as quickly, be as resilient from it as you have in the past. Okay. What must be released? We have the Seven of Cups, right? I think you have so much of your lack of intuition or your disconnection from what you feel is your intuition is coming from the fact that you're tired. Like your body is drained. Remembering that the wands are the physical body and they're the cardiovascular system. And when we are physically tired, it's hard for us to trust our intuition. It's hard for us to really evaluate a lot of the wisdom and information that's placed in front of us, right? So I think you've been functioning and I think you've been navigating in a particular way, but I think that the veil is going to come off in terms of you just not feeling comfortable with making major decisions right now because of how drained you are and this exhaustion feeding a lot of your confusion. Okay. Where do you need to reclaim your power? What boundary needs strengthening? Now, this is a fascinating card. Seven of Swords. It's gonna sound weird to say spirit is giving you permission to be manipulative, but let me explain, right? Sometimes when the Seven of Swords comes up, it is permission for us to move in a way that is stealthy. I think that there's somebody in your life that you're doing way too much over explaining to. And I don't even think that it's somebody that we don't need to over explain ourselves to anybody, but it could be somebody that you're giving less help to, that you're saying no to. And instead of you just saying no and understanding it's a complete sentence, you're doing a lot of over explaining. So the Seven of Swords is coming up to say, no, you need to move in a way that's a little bit more stealthy. People don't really need to know all your business. It's okay to be more strategic. And that ability to be strategic will actually free up a lot of your energy because that's a huge part of the reason why you're tired. It's like you're tiptoeing around other people's feelings, if that makes sense. But that's what the lunar eclipse is really going to be highlighting for you. Now let's look at what Mars in Pisces has in store for you. Ancestors, angels, ascended masters, spirits that walk with me, my elevated ancestors. What wisdom does Mars in Pisces have for Nicole? What revelations will she experience while Mars is in Pisces? What's being moved in order to create space for something new? Any wisdom shared is deeply appreciated. Okay. Where is your energy leaking? Where are you exhausted but not saying why? You keep thinking about the worst possible scenarios, even though there's no evidence that those worst possible scenarios are going to happen. And it's draining your energy. Not only is it draining your energy, Spirit will really love you to stop doing that, because the only way that those things will manifest is if you hyperfixate on them, right? So I think once Mars enters into Pisces, it's going to be really important for you to take inventory over your negative thoughts and, like, low-key just rebuke them. Like, get rid of them, because you don't have any actual evidence that things are going to spiral out of control or go bad. And if you have that fear and you hyperfixate on it, it will become real, okay? What emotion is fueling your actions? We have the Strength card. So a lot of this is an interesting card. Going back to the Eight of Swords. Sometimes we can hyperfixate on our fears because we feel like that gives us control, right? If we think about the worst possible scenario and we imagine a way to control, you're a Scorpio. This makes so much fucking sense. If you think about the worst possible scenario and then you think of a way that you can fix the worst possible scenario, it gives you a sense of power and control. But that's not often how it works. Sometimes we manifest the worst possible scenario through hyperfixating on it, right? So you really have to shift your understanding of strength, right? Strength and courage is being prepared for when difficulty arises. It's not manifesting the difficulty and then having a way to put the fire out. Those are two very different things. So you have to change that. Like, don't think that thinking about the worst possible scenario and then creating a way to fix the worst possible scenario is how you control. It's not. It's just making difficulty for you. Okay? In the position of how can you channel your fire constructively, which talks about where you need to redirect your desire or the creative or spiritual practice that's going to stabilize you, we have the Page of Pentacles, and I actually love this for you. Now's a time where you need to just really be a student of life, right? Learn through new experiences. And going back to this tendency to kind of focus on the worst possible scenario in the hopes of fixing it, teaching yourself, okay, what if everything just works out? Who do I get to be if everything just works out? How do I show up in the world if I just believe that everything's going to be completely fucking fine, right? This is something you really got to teach yourself at this time and at this moment. I hope that made sense. Let me know if that resonated with you, Nicole. All righty. Tiffany, you are up next. If there is anyone else that would like a reading, go ahead and submit your love offering and put a comment in the comment section, and I will get to your question after Tiffany. All right. Tamika, did I do you? Tamika, did you want a question? I feel like I started with Tamika, no? Yeah, I think I started with Tamika. I haven't even had weed in months. I don't know why my memory is this bad, but I feel like I started with Tamika. Don't think about it that way, Nicole, because if you think of it in terms of I got some work to do, it feels burdensome. You just got some thoughts to shift. That's all. I said that like it's light work, but try to take the weight off of it, you know? So Tiffany wants a reading on Mars and Pisces. If there's anyone else that would like either a lunar eclipse reading or a Mars and Pisces reading, go ahead and submit your love offering and I will get to you after Tiffany. Ancestors, angels, ascended masters, spirits to walk with me. My elevated ancestors, what does Mars and Pisces have in store for Tiffany? What will Mars's transit into Pisces allow her to release and reclaim at this time? Any wisdom shared is deeply appreciated. So, in the energy of where your energy is leaking, where you are exhausted but not saying why, similar thing that came up for someone else earlier, we have the Queen of Swords. You are tired of having to be both intellect and nurturer for the people around you. You're tired of having to always come up with the right answers. It is a very draining thing for you. And not only is it tired because you're having to do this for everyone else, you don't really feel like you have somebody to be that for you. So it's making you a little resentful, right? What emotion is fueling your actions? Which talks about where you are acting from a wounded emotion, or that's the undercurrent. What emotion is fueling your action? We have the Five of Swords. You are in a period where you are really going through a reevaluation of your war strategy, which is good, right? That's the good side of Five of Swords. The bad Five of Swords is that, and I love this artwork because I feel like it's a perfect embodiment, right? I think that even though this is a really opportune time for you to repivot your war strategy, there's a part of you that's so resentful of the loss you've had or the way you may have been victimized by a recent situation that it can be impacting your ability to strategize and move forward. So you really got to let go of your resentment or frustration from any recent losses over, Spirit is saying, the last year and a half, right? Really let that go so that way you can see clearly, because you won't even be able to fully see how far you've come or what changes you've made if all you're focusing on is the resentment of what didn't work out. Okay? Now, in the position of how can you channel your fire constructively, I actually really love this. This talks about where you need to redirect your desire, the creative or spiritual practice that will stabilize you. Spend more time around people that think like you. You're not spending enough time around people who are thinking like you or who are in the same phase of life as you, right? Because these are not the people who expect you to be this all the time. The people who are still in this phase of redirecting their war strategy and figuring things out, not only are they going to be able to pour game into you and tell you what's worked out for them, right? Three of Pentacles is very much a steel sharpening steel energy. It's lifting as we climb, right? And I feel like that, I don't remember what deck it is, but that's one of my favorite representations of the Three of Pentacles. It's like a whole bunch of people climbing ladders and they're pulling each other up as they go. Not only is that going to help you get the support and the nurturing that you are resentful of not having, right? But it's also a lot of fun. You need to be around people that you can have fun with instead of people that are always thinking about, okay, well, Tiffany gonna have the right answer, or Tiffany's responsible for having the right answer while nurturing us through the right answer, right? So I hope that made sense, but you need to spend more time around people that are figuring life out, because they're going to be the people that you can get wisdom and information from instead of putting additional obligation on you. Okay? All right, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. I don't see anyone else who has a question. Oh, hold on. Laba Lynn has a question. I apologize. Spoke too soon. Is there a way to pick up on which one of my ancestors prioritized for me? I just got here and I missed the explanation of the differences of the spreads. If not, I'll choose. I'll explain. So one is a full moon or total lunar eclipse in Virgo reading. And the Virgo eclipse is very much about refinement, about where it is we need to create more order in our life. And then we have the Mars in Pisces reading. Mars in Pisces is about hidden spiritual resentments, where we're struggling with martyrdom, and what we are open up to once we release those struggles with martyrdom. Intuitively, I kind of feel like you need the Mars and Pisces one, La Balin. So let me know which of those two feels best for you. But I low-key feel like you would benefit from the Mars and Pisces reading. How you feel about that? I'm going to give you a moment to confirm and let me know if you want that one. While La Balin is confirming, if there's anyone else here that would like a reading, go ahead and let me know. Tiffany said, definitely makes sense. Thank you. Okay, good. I'm glad that that was helpful for you. I feel the same. All right, La Balin, so I got you. I'm going to do the Mars and Pisces for you. Let's see. Ancestors, angels, ascended masters, spirits that walk with me, my elevated ancestors. What wisdom does La Balin need at this time about the Mars in Pisces transit? What is Mars in Pisces here to help her understand about energetic leaks and how she can be better about reclaiming her energy? Any wisdom shared is deeply appreciated. Okay. In terms of where your energy is leaking, which talks about where you are exhausted but not saying why, we have the Nine of Swords, right? And Nine of Swords is literally, it's nightmare energy. There are things that you worry about at night that you lose sleep over. And it's not in that Eight of Swords way where it's just an irrational fear that if you focus on it, it can manifest. There's something from your past that you fear revisiting, right? Something from your past that you fear coming back up to bite you in the butt, and you do lose peace over it. And that's causing you to lose or to leak a certain amount of energy, okay? In a position of what emotion is fueling this action, which talks about the emotional wound that you may be acting from, we have the Knight of Swords, right? The Knight of Swords is the most intelligent and the most accomplished of the knights, but they're also the most compulsive, right? It's like they feel such a responsibility to get shit done either before the other knights or better than the other knights that they don't let themselves rest It's like there's a part of you that's afraid of not being perfect. And that nightmare energy that's keeping you up at night, it's probably related to that, right? There's a wound that you have around perfectionism and not seeming like the person that has it all together. And that can make you run into situations and towards people that in the long run actually aren't the best for you, right? That's a thing that can happen a lot with Knight of Swords. They're just so wrapped up in the execution of the goal that sometimes it's not till they actually complete the goal that they realize, like, I didn't even really want this shit anyway. This don't even feel good, right? How can you channel your fire constructively? How can you redirect towards desire? What's going to give you creative or spiritual stabilization if you practice it? Baby, rest. Just rest. Rest peacefully. You are making yourself tired. Yes, I'm still accepting people for reading, Chantel. Let me know which of the readings you want and go ahead and send your love offering and I got you, okay? I'm going to finish with you, though. You'll be my last one because it is getting a little late. But yeah, La Balin, I see the energy of someone from this reading who, it's like there's something from your past that was it wasn't even that fucking deep, like a minor loss or a minor transgression. And you're so fearful of repeating that or being defined by that, that you are running through perfectionism. And it's draining you. It's making you tired. It's low-key making you exhausted beyond your years. So getting comfortable with stillness and rest, because here's the thing, and this is the message, I think this is such a beautiful message of the Four of Swords. You gotta rest so that you can even handle the next battle, right? It's not a rest that you're engaging in because you're lazy. No, you gotta prepare for what's next. And it's the rest, the recuperation, and the recovery that's actually going to keep you from living this out. Let me know if that resonated with you. Let me know if that made sense. Chantel, let me know which of the readings you want, and then I'll take care of you next, okay? But we have a Mars in Pisces reading, and then there's the lunar eclipse in, so you want both. Okay, I got you for both. Let me just go ahead and highlight your comment so I can remember who I'm talking to. We will start with the lunar eclipse for you, and then I will wrap up with Mars and Pisces, and you'll be my last reading for the night, okay? Ancestors, angels, ascended masters, spirits that walk with me, elevated ancestors. What wisdom does Chantel need about the Virgo full moon, the lunar eclipse in Virgo? What is she being called to release? What does this create space for? Any wisdom shared is deeply appreciated. And to those of you who may have been a little curious but just fearful to go ahead and get the reading for whatever reason, I'll be back on Sunday, and I'll be doing general readings on Sunday, but if there's anybody that missed these that will be interested on Sunday, I will make sure to repost them again so that I can take those on Sunday as well, okay? But don't forget to come back on Sunday. Also, next Thursday, we're going to be doing happy hour instead. Hunti Kodan will be joining me. And we're going to do it a little different because, again, we're going to be advertising and, informing you guys about the road opening ritual. So we're going to talk about celebrities and politicians, but we're going to talk about why we think they would need some road opening work. And hopefully that'll help you guys understand the nature of road opening, okay? All right. What is being revealed? What blind spot is coming to the light? You are an aligned woman. You have a lot that you're figuring out about yourself and about life, but there's a need for companionship there. And spirit would like to see you in relationship, absolutely. So there's a desire for that there. That's what's going to really be revealed to you and highlighted during this lunar eclipse in Virgo. I think, again, because Virgo is a sign of service, I think you're going to really be reflecting over the ways in which, through acts of service and support, you would benefit from having a partner, right? What must be released? The thing that needs to be purged. We have the Two of Cups, right? A lot of people think that the Lovers and the Two of Cups are the same energy. They are not. They really are not. Two of Cups is about reciprocity and partnerships that are reciprocal. And that can be a romantic partner, but it can be any kind of partner. This is romantic for you. Again, because I think that there's a part of you that you have a hyper awareness of what you don't want in a partner. And when we have a hyper awareness of what we don't want in a partner, that takes precedent in our mind and it makes us not want to go after romance, right? But this lunar eclipse is going to make you think, okay, well, what do I want from a partner? What are the ways that I want somebody to pour into me? What will make me feel like I'm actually somebody's giving back to me in the equal ways that I give? That's going to really be at the forefront of your mind during this eclipse, okay? Now, in the position of, I keep doing that. I keep hitting the wrong number. In the position of where do you reclaim your power, the boundary that needs strengthening, and where you need to redirect your energy, we have the Four of Pentacles. And I actually love this a lot for you. I think really thinking on what you've saved, right? What you have gathered, and how that is something that's beautiful to share with other people, right? Because we think a lot about the Four of Pentacles as somebody that's hoarding resources out of fear. And it can be, but when it's in an aligned energy, it's somebody who is preparing for the next step, right? They're preparing for their future. And I think when we have this next to the Two of Cups, it's not only are you thinking about how you want somebody to pour into you, you're really thinking about, and it allows you to reclaim your power, you're really thinking about, okay, I come with all these gifts, right? I hate it when niggas ask what a woman brings to a table, but you have a hyper awareness of, nigga, I bring all this to the table. You don't see all these coins? Like, this is a beautiful amount of stuff to bring to a table. And so I think that's where your energy is right now. I'm working on my heart chakra. Okay, that makes sense. So yeah, as you work on your heart chakra, you have a keen awareness of the blessings and the bounty you bring into somebody else's life, which I think is a beautiful energy to have when we are dating. I think that's beautiful. Resonated perfectly. Thank you. I felt lazy, but I've been forced to lay down for the past 2 weeks. But I'm telling you, this energy leading up to Lava Land, I'm not about to sit here and start rambling about my health because I know my students are tired of hearing about, I'm tired of hearing about this old lady's aches and pains, but I had to learn the hard way this week that if you do not make room for rest, your body will sit you down. So, yeah, I understand. Please, yeah. And that's the thing that sucks. It's like you don't listen, you don't get the rest, and then once you get sick, you lose so much time. So definitely try to take care of yourself. Please take care of yourself. Okay. Now for your Mars and Pisces reading, Chantel. Yes, Sisters, Angels, Ascended Master Spirits to walk with me. What is Mars and Pisces here to teach Chantel? What does it highlight about the areas of life where her energy is leaking? And what does she need to do to reclaim her energy? Any with some share, it is deeply appreciated. We got the Eight of Swords in the position of card one, which talks about where your energy is leaking. Where are you exhausted but not saying anything? And I forget, there was another lady tonight that had the same card, right? You waste a lot of your energy thinking about the worst possible scenario. And that fear that the worst can happen it's not rooted in reality. You have no evidence of the worst happening, and it's just draining you. It runs you ragged. It's not helpful. You believe you're preparing, but it's not. You're not preparing. It's just draining your energy. Okay? What emotion is fueling your actions? What is the emotional wound that's fueling this action? It's the Chariot. I think Chariot is an energy of ambition. And ambition in and of itself, there's nothing wrong with. Ambition is a beautiful thing. But notice the Chariot is always alone. He's always by himself, right? And the reason why this is a wound for you is that if you believe that in order to reach your ambitions, you have to be alone, you will create the fear that you think about, which is that you will be alone, right? That you won't have community, you won't have support. And that is a dangerous thing to believe, because most successful people, even if you don't see their team, they have a team and a community of people that are lifting them up, right? So you really got to work on this false belief that in order for you to be ambitious, it requires isolation, because that's not true. In the position of how can you channel your fire constructively? Where can you redirect desire? Or what creative or spiritual practice will stabilize you? I love this. We have the Death card. This is an opportunity for you to really have transformation around your definitions of success, right? And again, it could be the independent thing, but it could be other aspects of your definition of success. I don't know why that was beating my ass the way it was, but it's like you have an outdated understanding of what success means for you. It's not in alignment with who you are anymore. So you have to let this old definition die, because that's a part of what keeps you in the fear. You're moving towards something that don't feel right. It's like it's a skin or it's a coat that don't fit you anymore. And so once you can transform and let this old definition die, I think it'll allow you to move with much more authenticity. Okay? I hope that was helpful. I hope that resonated. This was fun. I love Astro. I love every segment that I do. I really do. But I feel like the Astro Hour conversations really reveal certain things that we probably wouldn't come to if we were just doing general questions. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for asking questions. Again, 2 days left to get Ancestral Life Path readings at a discounted price. Road opening ceremony starts March 30th. Deadline to sign up is March 28th. If you would like to learn more about the road opening ceremony, join the intake group below. That's all for now. I'll see you all 7:30 p.m. on Sunday. Take care, be good, do good, and I'll see y'all in a couple days. Bye.